Yeah, we ain't wasting time today. We're not wasting time today. Welcome into the Sactown Sports Kings Recap Show. My name is Chris Watkins, joining you live from the home studio as the Sacramento Kings lose to the Washington Wizards by a score of 109-102. I guess I'm obligated to say I think this is the sixth straight game that the Kings have held their opponents underneath 112 points. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about that because Mark Jones just said something that really broke me as I was listening to this broadcast as they were winding down. The Washington Wizards pick up their 12th win of the season. Win number 12 for the Washington Wizards, who, I guess we got to give them credit. Kyle Kuzma made his shots today. The Kings definitely did not, and I think that's a big part of tonight's story is the fact that the Kings couldn't make shots, and this is yet again, I don't know what their final percentage was from three, 28%, which has been right at that magical number that we've seen all season long. The Kings haven't won a single game that they've shot under 27% in. And that almost continues today, but they shoot 28% as they kind of got hot. I think it was in that fourth quarter. They were 5 of 8. Katie said towards the end of that broadcast, but they were trash. They were trash from beyond the perimeter all night long. They started 0 of 10. Yeah, I was hoping that we were past these kind of streams at this point in the season. Hey, yeah, mid rock, you're right. Not only have the Kings. It's a great point. Not only have the Kings held their last 6 opponents below 112, but as a mid-rock beautifully points out, Domantas Sabonis also had a double-double. So two great things happened today. Kings continue to hold their opponents under 112, and Domantas Sabonis gets another double-double. So I don't know what everyone's so upset about. I just don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it was there's no words that you can have there. I mean, it's inexcusable, but what does that even mean? It's gross. It's embarrassing for sure. You saw Malik Monk at the end of the game. If for those of you who watched till the very end there, first of all, Mike Brown pulled him. Mike Brown straight up yelled at him, said, Davion, go get Malik. Malik said something. He clearly was like, man, should have had this, some variation of we should have had this game. Of course, it was probably a lot saltier than that, but Mike Brown pulled him, goes to the bench. Someone tried to grab his arm clearly and, pull him in to talk to him. Didn't want to hear it, spun away, walked off straight to the locker room. Domantas Sabonis at the end of the game is the only one. Him and Colby Jones were the only two I saw dapping people up. Everyone else went straight to the locker room. So I guess the only hope is that these guys are upset too. They're just as upset as I am. They're just as upset as all you out there watching this. That's really the only good note of today is that I think this is one that we're all going to feel, and it doesn't feel good at all. But what they always say that in those dark moments like today. I mean, obviously more so real life dark moments, but you just will tell yourself, I don't ever want to feel this again, and you just hope that eventually this is actually the last straw. I do think a lot of tonight was the fact that they weren't hitting shots, but at the same time, they turned the ball over a ton. Domantas Sabonis had 5 turnovers. They were also really untimely turnovers. De'Aaron Fox was incredibly inconsistent from the field today, 10 of 30. I think he took 14 or 15 threes tonight, which is really something he was doing a lot at the beginning of the year. Haven't seen a lot of it recently, but it makes me wonder if something's off with him or if he just was kind of coasting through today. I will also say, on the Kings' defense, the referees were trash tonight. Like they were not on the Kings' side. Maybe Wizards fans thought that the refs were decent, but there were a couple moments. I think it was in the third quarter, might have been in the second quarter, where the Kings were getting ticky tack calls, literally like 3 in a possession, if I'm not mistaken. And you saw De'Aaron start to get upset and then talk to the ref. And then Kyle Kuzma goes and pump fakes and Kessler Edwards leaps into him. Kuzma goes up, and Kuzma definitely leaned into him, but Kessler Edwards 1,000% jumped into, like, leaned towards Kyle Kuzma on his jump. It was a foul on Kessler, and they called nothing. So clearly a bit of swallowing the whistle there, but I just thought the refs were really bad tonight. I think Katie said at the end of the broadcast there, De'Aaron did not get to the line once tonight, which is insane. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox goes 0 for 0 at the line. Sabonis only went to the line once. He took 2 free throws tonight. So De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis both only combined 1 trip to the free throw line. That I mean, there's no way. There's no way that's true. I mean, you can't go through an entire game and tell me that De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis didn't get fouled once, or they only got fouled once on all of their shot attempts. Yeah, I mean, and it was weird because Keegan had it going at the start of the game, and then really was doing nothing for about 2 quarters there, and then showed some moments in the fourth. But Kyle Kuzma has a great night tonight. I think he ended up with 30. He ended up with 31 points for Kuzma, 13 to 22. They tried to throw Keon Ellis on him. Frankly, Keon was too small. I was talking about it on the radio show earlier today. Like, what is Keon's dynamic range, I guess, where, Keon is clearly able to defend point guards. He's obviously able to defend his position at the 2. Can he defend threes? Can he defend power forwards? I think we saw tonight that, Kyle Kuzma is a legit 6'10", so, it's a bit on the taller side of what you would even reasonably expect Keon to do. But it was just a bit too big for him. But that's where Keegan Murray is supposed to step up and be this really good defender, good isolation defender that we've heard all year long. And really, Keegan wasn't to be seen. Mike Brown didn't play him a ton leading into that fourth quarter. And I wonder how Mike Brown feels about, a night like tonight. I'm excited to hear his post-game press conference because I'm sure he's going to say, as he always does, hats off to the Wizards, hats off to whoever. I don't even know who their coach is these days. He's got them boys. Really going and whatever the hell he's going to say. But, that just shouldn't be the case. I mean, the Wizards, there's no reason why the worst team in the NBA, I don't care if they're at home, I don't care if Kyle Kuzma is coming back from an injury, there's just no reason why the Kings should have lost on a night like tonight. And so they're gonna wear this one. They got Orlando, who I believe just beat the Pelicans as well. They got Orlando on Saturday. Yeah, Orlando beat the Pelicans by about 15. So, that'll be the next opportunity for them to kind of right this ship because it's not one that kills all of your momentum that you've built up here. Again, I'm kind of trolling a bit, but the fact that you do continue to play defense, you allow under 112 points. I do think a lot of tonight was the fact that the Wizards suck offensively, but I think that this is definitely a step back, as it's been for a lot of this season. Two steps forward, 1 step back, and that's exactly what this game was. And you just kind of hope to put it behind you as quickly as you can, and you hope that this one doesn't, for whatever reason, cause a rift in the locker room. Again, I don't want to read too much into Malik storming off at the end there, but this is a really bad loss at this time in the season. There's really no other way of putting it. Like with the Pelicans losing to the Magic, the Kings had an opportunity to bring it within 1 game of them. And I also believe that Dallas is playing right now as well. There's a shot that the Kings go right back into the play-in tournament after tonight. The Suns and the Mavericks are playing. The Mavericks are playing right now. They're up 6 on Utah, and Phoenix plays Atlanta later tonight at 7:30. If both of those teams win, the Kings are back in the 8 seed, and they're no longer in the driver's seat. They'll have the Magic, and then they'll come home and play the Sixers on Monday, and then they have a game against the Mavericks on Tuesday, and then again on Friday. So They are, I feel like I've said it a couple different times now, but they have officially ran out of leash. There's no more easy games. I mean, there's the Utah Jazz, who are still in the throes of fighting for the play-in. They technically are on the outside in for sure. That's definitely a game that the Kings should win. But really, with the exception of Utah, it's the Blazers, game 82. And besides that, it's all playoff or play-in teams for the Kings the rest of the way. So, you've kind of wasted your last opportunity to get pretty much a pretty much a guaranteed win, and you just kind of blow it. So, not great. Definitely not great. And we didn't see Sasha tonight, which I apologize, because yesterday on the stream I was pretty adamant that it was just a formality that Sasha wasn't going to play or was going to play. Yeah. Let me try and think now after that thought dump if I have any thoughts on the game itself. I mentioned De'Aaron's shot selection wasn't great. Keon Ellis, this is a weird game to try and figure out from his perspective. I don't know how many steals he ended up with tonight. I know he had one early in the first half, but it definitely was not a 4-steal night from Keon Ellis. Yeah, only finishes with 1 steal, 2 points, 1 of 3, didn't hit a 3, played 20 minutes. Mike Brown waited until the very end of the game to check Keon back in. This is a little bit of the crash to reality that I was waiting for Keon. Not in a bad way, but just, it wasn't... Keon Ellis was not going to average 4 steals a game the rest of the season. So what did it look like when Keon wasn't having a terrific game? What does a good game from Keon? What does a bad game from Keon look like? And how are the Kings able to kind of survive those different scenarios? Tonight we saw about as bad of a Keon Ellis game as I think you're going to get. I don't think he's going to take... I don't think he's going to ever be 0 of 6 or anything like that. He's never going to be really a volume shooter. So him being 1 of 3 and only having 2 points, no assists, no rebounds, and 1 steal, that feels like about as bad as it's going to get in terms of Keon impact. I think that the Kings could have survived without it, which I think is a good thing, that they're clearly not relying on Keon Ellis's defense in order to perform good defense. I mean, the fact that Keon plays 20 minutes tonight doesn't have a major effect, and they still, again, I'm going to continue to throw that number out there just because it is convenient for now. The fact that they still do hold their opponent under 112 or 110, whatever number you like to use, they still did do it, even with Keon having not that much impact. So for everybody who's out there, myself included, who is attributing a ton of the Kings defense just to Keon Ellis, this might be a sign that, it is truly a team effort on that end. So I guess, I in a weird way spun that into a positive. Yeah, shout out my guy Chewy. I was over in the Top Shot. Well, technically it was on the Playback app or the playback.com. I think it is an app as well. But I watched the game over with the Kings Top Shot community over there, who watches the game. I'm pretty sure they watch every game, if not most games, over there on the Playback app. Really cool. Thought it was awesome. You can, there's just like this. There's a chat. Except instead of looking at full screen me, you get to actually watch the game and hear commentary while the game's going on. So I thought that was a really cool experience, and definitely recommend for if anybody watches the game alone or whatever. Definitely know that I'm in a house where none of my roommates are really big Kings fans, so I definitely know how that can go. It's really, really cool if that's your situation, or if you just want to have fun. Again, I was saying they have a really cool clip of them watching the Clipper game last year, and just like having a moment like that forever, just kind of solidified, where you can kind of house it on something like that. I thought that was really cool. So definitely shout out those guys and gals, of course. Dude, Richaun was on one today, and that's gonna happen for guys who are having revenge games. What did Richaun finish with? 16. Hold on, no one told me Richaun has 16 rebounds. Hold on. Sabonis have 14? Damn. Yo, that's actually crazy. I'm not going to look into it, but what was the last game Domantas Sabonis straight up got out rebounded by his matchup? That's crazy. That's the epitome of a revenge game. Besides the fact that Richaun goes 2 of 9, we're going to ignore that. But he had 16 rebounds and held Domas to 14 points. And really had a couple moments where I was like, you could tell that this fool practiced against Sabonis every single day because he did not move. He just put his hand straight up and was like, you're going to have to go through me, partner. I know what you do. And I'm not biting on any of those pumps. So shout out Richaun, who did kill it today. And I still feel like I don't understand why he couldn't figure it out last year. Not him, but why him and the Kings couldn't figure it out last year. I forgot. It's my guy's birthday. I was going to tell him not to wish for a birthday beam because there was a 0% chance that it was going to happen. I'm so sorry, Alan, but this is what they do, man. Worst birthday ever. It's your first one. That's all I got to tell you, man. This is what they do. My birthday is usually right around opening night, and they very, very, very rarely would ever win. So, unfortunately, no beam, and we will not get an answer to what the beam looks like during the daytime. I know yesterday we discovered right here. Shout out Jess. I don't know if Jess is in here yet, but yeah, we discovered yesterday that the beam got turned on late. So today it's getting turned on extra late. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like, they definitely settled a lot from the perimeter. Felt like De'Aaron was settling a lot. But also, I wonder how much of the settling was because they weren't getting the calls. And, De'Aaron was doing a lot of those little, like, running sky hooks. And I think he was expecting to get a lot of those calls and just didn't. And I feel like they kind of abandoned it for that reasons. But we definitely know that Mike Brown has been very adamant that he wants those spray threes, and you can't the spray, part of the spray is you got to be in the paint. So again, it does feel like on a night like tonight, they forget about the most important part of drive and kick, and that's the drive part. But nobody's going to buy, everyone's just going to sell out on the kick if you never actually take it to the hole, Again, it's just like football. It's like you can play action only works if you run the ball. It's about as simple as I can put it. Drive and kick only works if you're going to actually drive. Because then people are going to say, I know you're only driving so that I have to come over and then you're going to leave my guy open. But if your end goal is always to just hit it to that guy, then go ahead. I would love to see you try and score. Yeah. Are you talking? Why did he get benched? I'm trying to think who you're talking about. Why did he get benched? Keon, I assume you're talking about. Why did Keon get benched? It's a good question. It's definitely a good question. I would guess that their plan was to put him on Kuzma, and when they realized he was not a viable answer for Kuzma, they just didn't really. Again, I don't even love that answer, but I'm gonna have to wait for Mike Brown on that one. But that would be my guess, is that they saw how it wasn't really going well on Kuzma, and just kind of figured it might not be a Keon night. Again, yep, Manny, yep, it's how it goes, man. It's how it goes. Oh, absolutely. Oh, Blue Velvet. There's not a chance. This is what is happening. B, this is what Vegas should put their money on. If I'm Shohei Ohtani right now, I'm hammering this. I'm hammering beating the Magic and then destroying Dallas twice. But in between, we're 1,000% losing to the Jazz. Absolutely. I've already seen the tape. I don't know, man. I would love to blame this on the back-to-back, but they had rest yesterday. Like, they played 3 quarters yesterday. And we've seen them win tougher back-to-backs. So, It's especially at this point in the season, like you got to be locked in. You have to be absolutely locked in. You cannot let back to backs be something that affects you at this point. Honestly, this was the best part of having Richaun on the team, I guess, was just hoarding him so that he couldn't stop him. That's frustrating. We just let this man into the wild, and it turns out he gained all this information. Yeah, this is interesting for sure. We saw the four guard lineup again today. I think we saw it twice. Once with Duarte at the four, and then the other time had, I don't think it was Keon. I can't remember exactly how it went, but there was two different times in which we saw four guard lineups. And yeah, the three rotation guys over 6'6" being out is a great point. Like it does really hurt your bench size, and that's where the Kings just have no depth. It already is just with length, and you throw the fact that you have all those guys out. That's a really good point, Dwayne. Yeah, actually, that's a great point. Yeah, I felt weird. The weird part of the game was coming back down from 18 and then going down 14 immediately after. Yeah, that was so strange because they were playing like trash. They couldn't hit anything. Kyle Kuzma's going crazy. Then to close out the half, they just completely flip a switch. It looks like, okay, all the momentum's going towards the Kings' favor. This is how it's going to go the rest of the game. I think they went on like a 21-3 run. And then the third quarter happens, and they were kind of right back where they found themselves, kind of bring it back again, but then never officially get close enough to really make it a close one. And yeah, it was definitely a weird game. And I think somebody said Walodi at the top. It is definitely in contention for worst loss of the season. Absolutely. Or year, I'm sorry. Yeah, Shohei's catching strays. Oh yeah, he got the Michael Jordan itch 1000%. He got the Barkley in him. Oh my goodness. I don't want to. No, hold on. Let's relax here. It does not guarantee the plan without question. There's still some questioning on it. It definitely is trending that direction. Okay, hold on. I'm not saying you're completely wrong, but to answer this question with this, there is still 14 games left in the season. The Kings just played their 70th game, so there's 12 games actually. There's 12 games left. Oh no, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Oh wow, ESPN standings updates fast. No, so they do have 13 games left in the season. Yeah, Dallas definitely has a lot easier of a schedule, but I'm telling you, if the Kings win those two games, if they win essentially four in a row here, if they beat the Magic, if they beat the Sixers, and then if they beat Dallas back to back, that's how you get right back into it. And honestly, it wouldn't bury Dallas, but the Kings would have to play really poorly down the stretch for them to lose that kind of lead. So it's not over yet. It starts to get over if they lose again here before the Dallas games, and if they lose one of those Dallas games. That's when things really start to get iffy for this team. But right now, they're teetering. Again, a win today would have done you a lot of favors. Dog, get Allen, get out of here. Get out of here. No, stop acting like it's crazy. Stop acting like that's crazy. If they beat the Magic, which again, they're going to be, here I go again using the word refocused, but they're recentered, but they lose tonight, they are going to come with a completely different energy on Saturday. Monday, you play the Sixers, who can't beat anybody. They're playing so poorly. I believe they're in the play. The Sixers are the 8th seed right now in the Eastern Conference. Okay, that's how bad they're playing. They've lost 4 of their last 10. I'm sorry, they've won 4 of their last 10. They are officially. They've fallen all the way from the 2 seed to the 8 seed. So I don't want to hear it with that being crazy. And then just winning the 2 Dallas games. That's all I'm saying. The Dallas games are going to be incredibly important. But if the Kings can take care of business before then, that's how this thing is not already cooked. It's not cooked at all. It's getting close to it. Again, they've burned all the rope, all the leash that they had. But it's not 100% over yet. And Dallas, let's not act like Dallas is the Chicago Bulls of the '90s or nothing. They trick off games. Yeah, for sure. It was definitely deflating, very disheartening. Absolutely. Again, you would think that these games would be in the rearview mirror, trying to keep the faith. I really don't think it's um, like this has been their identity all year. Like the problem hasn't been losing to good teams. It's been losing to the bad teams, and this is just what they've done. And in the grand scheme of it, this does not mean that they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. Like if they beat Dallas 2 games in a row, if they win, they have some tough games, Clippers, OKC, Celtics, if they win some of those games, like it's all going to balance each other out. It's just about I mean, yeah, there's bigger picture stuff that I think is would be more concerning, like Keon Ellis. Like, I mean, the fact Keon has 2 points tonight, like, again, how reliable is he going to be in general? That's what I'm more concerned about at this point. Keegan Murray, can he knock down threes? Can he figure this aggression thing out, man? Yeah, and you know what? Brandon Ingram did go down with a really scary knee injury. I have not seen it. I only heard about it, and I heard it did not go the right direction. Yeah. Um, yep, exactly. Losing one ugly game does not foretell the future. Everything's open in the West. Every team below 6 is 50-50 for the most part. Absolutely. Bro, Kuzma was going crazy. He was looking like Jordan on the Wizards. Dude, he was going bananas. I think he had like 18 in the first half or something, and it was, you know, yeah, we'll see. Starting to lose. You know what? This thought did cross my mind. I think that it's just an in the moment thing. Him kind of being upset at the end of the game. I don't want to draw too many conclusions from it. It's not great, of course, but I do think Malik's just gonna say, that's just me being emotional in the moment. I was upset that we lost that game. I don't think he hates Mike Brown. I don't think Mike Brown hates him. I think those two are the two most honest and open people on the team, and I think that's just kind of how they communicate. But Mike Brown also used to deal with Draymond Green, so I'm pretty sure dealing with Malik Monk is small potatoes in terms of big personalities that are throwing tantrums, if you will. Yeah, yeah, Alan, I talked about this earlier, man. We got our answer on Keon on wings, and that man's going boneless. He cannot go bone in. He got cooked by Kyle Kuzma. I'm intrigued to see what the defensive matchups look like on NBA stats later, but for the most part, from my eyes, it looked like Kyle Kuzma did exactly probably what you should do if you're a bigger guy with Keon matched up on you, and he just took him to the post and really just turned around and made it easy. And that's kind of the fear with Keon. That's I was asking it today on the radio show is what's the range? Can he guard twos? Can he guard ones? Is it threes? Is it fours? And I think we saw that today fours is probably a bit too much. But the funny thing is, this is the same exact conversation we had about Kessler Edwards last year. I remember Mike Brown in a post game press conference said the same exact thing when we asked him why Kessler Edwards wasn't playing in certain matchups and then was in others. And he essentially said, Kessler can guard ones and twos. I don't know about threes, and I don't trust him on fours. I think it's a similar case with Keon. I think he has a little bit more faith of him on threes, but I think we learned today that fours is just a bit more than he can chew. That's going to be part of his development. He's got to get stronger. He's still only in his second year in the league. But yeah, I think we got the answer on right now. Can Keon Ellis defend wings? Big wings, that is, more so. I think that's kind of a tough ask for him right now. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a combination of both. I'm sure he wasn't thrilled that how poorly the team looked in general. De'Aaron took a lot of threes that were a little ill-advised. I will say there was a moment at the end of the game. Maybe he wasn't upset at De'Aaron because I did notice that De'Aaron drove and kicked and sprayed to Malik instead of spraying to Keegan wide open in the corner. So I wonder if maybe he's upset, maybe at some specific players. I really don't want to, you know, get too salacious here, but it did feel like Malik was upset at more than just himself there. And you saw Mike Brown right before saying like, "Go get Malik," and had Davion literally check in to check Malik out with like 12 seconds to go. So there was clearly something effort, or Malik said something to him like, you know, man, why was Kessler out there for so long or so? I have no idea, but it seemed like it was something more than just, man, played like trash today. He is definitely very competitive, but yeah, Malik was he got cold there. He definitely I don't know what he finished tonight. He finished 6 of 13, 1 of 7 from three. Yeah, he was 1 of 7 from three. That's not great. 14% from the perimeter. Chris Duarte was also 1 of 7 from three. Yeah, we've talked about it before, but just when they don't have that 3 point support, they're not going to win many games. Shout out Davion Mitchell, who hit that clutch three in the fourth quarter there. I think that brought the game within one. That was his only attempt in the game. But everybody else, man, yeah, everybody else was laying down bricks. It's a shame that Keegan didn't like. What a weird game for Keegan Murray, where you look at the numbers: 16 points. He was 2 of 4 from three, 7 of 11 from the field, but like just not nearly impactful enough. And I think that's kind of what Mike Brown wants to see out of Keegan Moore. It's just like have a bit of ego, have a bit of fire, and take things personally. Like look at guys who are matched up across from you and say, I could take this guy. Absolutely. He can't guard me. And even if you miss the shot, it's just about having the confidence that you yourself are head and shoulders better than guys. And Keegan just he views himself as a cog in the wheel. And I do think that that's kind of an interesting. I don't want to say dilemma, but it's just something that's gonna. I don't know how it's gonna affect how his personality really affects his game. Like I do wonder how that kind of thing balances. I wonder how him being a nice, quiet, reserved guy ends up showing itself on the basketball floor. And I wonder if that will be fixed with age, with confidence, all of it, or will it just kind of be something that is a defining trait of him? It'll be really interesting, and I think it's going to play a big factor into what his ceiling is overall. It was weird for sure. The timing was off with the different lineups we had to put out there. Definitely, you could feel like the four guard lineups. It's just weird when they don't have Trey, when they don't have Herter out there to play at the three either. They just run so small. Yeah, it might be a bigger problem than we thought, especially if Duarte's going to be inconsistent. It looked like Duarte was starting to put together a good string of games. He had 14 points last night, but he's honestly a guy that's going to have to be really consistent for them off the bench. And he was not that tonight. It wasn't just him, but he really is the guy who's going to get the first opportunity with all of the guys being out. And he took advantage of it last night, but really didn't have it tonight. All right, I think I'm gonna hop on out of here. It's pushing towards 7 o'clock. This is my fourth broadcast of the day, so I'm kind of a bit spent. And this game just completely drained me. So I hope we can all get over a loss like tonight. Of course, you'd like the Kings to take care of business, but that just hasn't been the story all year long. So I guess this is our parting gift and away for this season. Kings lose 109-102 to the Washington Wizards out in Washington. They played the Orlando Magic on Saturday. If you don't like the Orlando Magic theme song, don't tune into that broadcast because it's getting bumped all game long, win or loss. So be prepared for that. You can check me out tomorrow from 10 to 2 with this guy, Alan Stiles, on Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports 1140. Where we're going to have to break down this game even further than I have here. We're going to try and not break down and cry. We will try and have fun with this one. It's been a really great week for the show, so hope you guys can all tune in. Absolutely, Joel, Orlando Magic, oh. Be ready for that on Saturday. I hope to see you guys tomorrow in the show. If not, I'll see you Saturday after the game where, yes, we will be bumping Orlando Magic. Play that song on the way out. You guys have a fantastic night. I'll see y'all when I see you.